When I was buying groceries at the market, a line of text floated over the celery in front of me. Jasper's spiritual root. I rubbed my eyes.
Am I hallucinating from too much academic stress?
Shaking my head, I picked up the tomato next to it, and more text appeared on it. Rare fruit, oath fruit. Holy crap, my hand shook, and I almost dropped the tomato. Then I looked all around. What's going on? It doesn't look like anything special.
Boss, how much is this?
4元a斤.
No freaking way! 4 yuan a jin, and it's a rare fruit? Who are you trying to fool?
I immediately slapped myself twice across the face.
I must have studied myself stupid.
My bizarre actions completely baffled the boss.
Kid, if you think it's too expensive, there's no need for that. I'll give you a discount.
No, that's not necessary, Sai.
Boss, I'm just a bit out of it. I'll buy these tomatoes.
After buying the celery and tomatoes, I went to another stall and picked up a carton of eggs. This time, no text appeared.
Looks like it really was just a hallucination. Thank goodness. Just some wood ear mushrooms. And tonight's dinner will be set.
But when I looked at the black wood ear mushrooms, holy crap.
Rare spiritual medicine, nether ear. What on earth is going on?
I couldn't help but wonder, could it really be a priceless spiritual medicine? Then I picked up the wood ear mushrooms. But
how much is this?
10 yuan.
10 yuan. Deal. I'll buy it.
I'm doomed.
I must have really studied myself stupid. Why do I see strange text on everything?
After buying the eggs and wood ear mushrooms, I turned to head home. Just then,
the host discovered 3 rare materials within 10 minutes. Truly terrifying. You have been recognized by the system. The All Things Illustrated Handbook system is now bound. Founding date, August 31st, 2026.
I was dumbfounded. I glanced at the date on my phone, which clearly said August 31st, 2025.
What a trash system. So sloppy.
And what even is this All Things Illustrated Handbook anyway?
I must be hearing things.
Why are there so many weird things happening today?
Before long, I arrived back at my apartment complex. The stray cat I always pet was sunbathing, so I reached out my hand out of habit.
Hey big orange, come here and let me pet you.
Right then, words popped up above the orange cat's head. Shadow cat demon. Immediately after, a piercing warning blared.
Warning, warning! A terrifying lord-level creature has been detected nearby. Please flee immediately.
You call this freaking terrifying? Now I get it. I've bombed a freaking artificial idiot.
I patted the orange cat's head. Too many weird things today.
I won't pet you for now. Go play.
As if understanding me, the orange cat turned and ran off.
The host remained calm and performed outstandingly in the face of a lord-level creature. The highlights commentary feature has been unlocked.
Did this system drink fake booze or something? System, activate highlights commentary.
Steam, activating commentary. Current highlight 1. On the afternoon of August 31st, 2026, the sky was shrouded in an eerie black mist. An orange cat wandered in and lost its way due to the black mist. As time passed, the power within the mist began to corrode its body, eventually turning it into a terrifying nether cat demon. At this critical juncture, the host encountered it. The host kept his cool, using his talk no jutsu to drive it away. Simply epic.
This system is definitely a bit messed up.
Driven by curiosity, I took out the ingredients I bought today.
Hey system, tell me again, what exactly are these?
All Things Illustrated Handbook opened. Material Handbooks 3. Creature Handbooks 1.
I'll check out the material handbook first. There is the Jasper Spiritual Root, which boosts cultivation efficiency, the Qian Fruit, which enhances constitution, and the Nether Ear, which increases mental strength and wards off inner demons. After checking them out, under the 3 handbooks, the Extract Reward option appeared below. I clicked it.
Extracted Jasper Spiritual Root Handbook. Constitution +2. Extracted Qian Fruit Handbook. Strength +2. Extracted Nether Ear Handbook. Spirit +2.
Instantly, a warm current surged through my body, and I suddenly felt bursting with energy. To test if this was real, I picked up a dumbbell I hadn't touched in ages. I could usually only do 20 reps, but this time, I easily did 100 in one go.
Holy crap, this is actually real. Does this mean a massive change really is coming in a year? And not only do I have a cheat system, but I'm also a whole year ahead of everyone else.
With that in mind, I opened the creature handbook again.
Shadow Cat Demon, a lord-level creature with shadow attributes. Its scream can penetrate souls, possessing extremely strong mental attack capabilities.
I couldn't wait to extract it to get the ability. Nether Screech emits a piercing shriek to execute a soul attack and briefly stun enemy. The stronger your mental power, the higher the damage and the longer the control duration.
Tell me, who wouldn't want to summon wind and rain, or soar through the cloud?
But I was still a bit puzzled. When I bought those eggs earlier, why was there no prompt? Then I took out rice, green onions, ginger, garlic, and other items, but there were still no prompts.
System, explain this to me.
But this time, the system went silent. After finishing my meal, I turned on my computer to search for a news report I saw earlier, August 15th, the Jiangzhou subway disappearance case. It was a subway line in trial operation. According to surveillance footage, when the last train departed from the station before the terminal stop, the carriages were completely empty, and shortly after, the onboard surveillance cut out. However, when the train arrived at the terminal stop, several unconscious passengers had materialized out of thin air inside the carriages. After waking up, They had no memory of how they ended up on the train. Despite investigations by the police and technicians, nothing unusual was found. Since the passengers were unharmed and lost no belongings, the incident didn't cause a major stir.
Thinking about it now, there's another reason why it didn't blow up.
It was suppressed by the higher-ups.
Next, I searched for news from other regions. Some reported massive dark shadows by the sea, in the desert sky. Oval light rings appeared, and human faces emerged on withered old trees. Each piece of news made my scalp tingle.
Even though they were only published by small local media outlets, but is it possible that this world is actually starting to change?
With that thought, I got up and headed out. Before long, I entered the subway station lobby. It was empty, not a soul inside.
Why isn't there even any staff around?
I looked and felt around, trying to find anything suspicious.
Just how were those passengers put onto the train?
Meanwhile, in the subway surveillance room, a woman was staring intently at me.
Command Center, this is Monitor Room 3. A man is exhibiting abnormal behavior in the platform area.
Roger that. Continue monitoring.
We are currently analyzing his intentions.
What is a kid like him doing running out here in the middle of the night instead of sleeping at home?
I had no idea that although this place looked completely neglected, in reality, defenses were set up everywhere. In several hidden corners, guards were stationed, ready to react to any emergency at a moment's notice. At this moment, I was heading toward the last platform.
Warning, a high concentration of black mist lies ahead. Extremely dangerous. Under no circumstances should a host approach. The chance of survival is 0.
I looked up and noticed the lights over there were dimmer than in the other areas.
It seems that because the system is experiencing a time glitch, everything it warns me about is actually from the future. What exactly is this black mist is talking about?
With that in mind, I kept walking forward.
Warning, extremely powerful swarm creatures seem to be lurking within the black mist. Do not approach.
Just then, 2 mosquitoes flew toward me, and I casually swatted them to death.
Host, you're amazing. Managed to hunt down 2 leader-level void split-tooth mosquitoes with your trash tier strength. First time kill of leader-level creatures. Rewarding 30 points. Do not lower your guard. Not far away, several more void split-tooth mosquitoes are ready to strike.
Stupid system. I can't be bothered with you.
Ignoring the system, I kept walking forward, and soon arrived at the last platform, where a woman in uniform was standing. Seeing me approach, she pulled out her credentials.
I'm a subway station staff member, responsible for security patrols. What are you doing here?
I knew very well that they had already thoroughly investigated my background, labeling me as just a naive high school senior.
Miss, I heard people saying this subway station is really spooky, so I wanted to check it out before school starts.
You probably saw the recent news, didn't you? That's right. There are indeed criminals operating here, so we've stepped up patrols. Let me show you out.
Thanks, miss. After leaving the platform, I headed straight out, and I knew that the woman named Wang Qian had pulled out a walkie-talkie.
Reporting to Director Wang, the target has left the subway station. No anomalies detected. He behaves just like an ordinary student. Is it really necessary to have them tail him?
Have them follow him immediately. No room for error. The higher-ups are taking this matter very seriously.
The team sent to tail him are all special forces level.
Over the past 2 weeks, it wasn't just this one student coming here. We've had adventure streamers, and even drunk guys looking for a thrill show up here. We have to tail them every time to monitor for any unusual behavior, but we always end up empty-handed. It's exhausting. Meanwhile, as I walked, I thought to myself,
that woman just now is definitely not as simple as she seems.
Is she with the police?
It seems early signs of the spiritual chi recovery are already showing.
What are the points used for?
Every 10 points can be exchanged for 1 attribute point.
simple and straightforward. Then, I opened a new handbook.
Void Split-Tooth Mosquito, a leader-class creature. Once they lock onto a target, they attack with lightning speed, draining blood. They often swarm in groups, making them hard to defend against.
After a brief hesitation, I chose to extract it and acquired the ability, Shadow Ray. After locking onto a target, instantly accelerate to launch an attack.
Good thing it's not blood-sucking. Otherwise, it would be a bit gross.
However, right at that moment, a system window popped up.
Host has collected 3 Dark Attribute entries, activating the Dark Attribute effect. Night vision increased by 30%, movement speed increased by 10%.
Holy crap, there's even a bond feature. This is freaking awesome.
After that, I couldn't wait to head home, but as I walked into an alley, something unexpected happened.
Hand over all your cash, your phone, and your payment pin. There are no cameras here. If you don't want to die, don't play any fucking tricks.
Perfect timing to test out my new attributes. I'll use you scumbags for practice.
I quickly spent 30 points to redeem 1 strength and 2 agility. Without another word, I lunged at them. Like a wolf among sheep, I tore through them. Within minutes, I had the 3 thugs on the ground, wailing in pain. This scene left the 2 officers tailing me completely dumbfounded.
Holy crap. Didn't the files from the higher-ups say he was just an ordinary student? With this strength, he's almost on par with a soldier king.
Luckily we followed him, or we really would have been fooled by this kid's act. Quick, go file a report.
Back home, I let out a satisfied laugh.
I feel stronger than ever before. Sure, the system can be a bit glitchy at times, but it still really comes through.
I now have a basic understanding of how the system works. The reason the ingredients at home didn't trigger any system alerts must be because they haven't met the conditions for recovery yet. But the tomatoes, celery, and wood ear mushrooms are already showing signs of recovery. Same goes for the mosquito and big orange. They all show some early signs of recovery. It seems that if I want to level up quickly in the future, I need to specifically seek out places with anomalies.
Exactly. Wherever things are out of the ordinary.
That's where you'll find me. Meanwhile, I had no idea that a burly middle-aged man in a trench coat led his team to the alley from before. He then pulled out a sci-fi looking device, which emitted a blue light, covering the entire alley.
A few minutes later, the light vanished, but the burly man frowned.
Seeing this, Director Wang stepped forward to inquire.
Mr. Long, did you find anything? It's a bit strange. There are no abnormal energy fluctuations here. It seems that kid is just a highly talented ordinary person.
Let's go then.
Looks like we'll have to keep monitoring the subway station.
Little did anyone know, on the surface of the Beilong River near Jiangzhou, a silver mist was rising, gradually. Silver patterns began to appear on the willow trees along the riverbank. The grass beneath the willows began to grow rapid, and nearby ants, seemingly drawn by some force, began arranging themselves into strange patterns on the ground, as if signaling that the world was about to become abnormal. Meanwhile, fast asleep, I naturally had no idea.
The next day, I got up early and headed to class.
My desk mate and ex-girlfriend, Liu Ruyan, was already in her seat. In the past, she would smile sweetly whenever she saw me, but now she turned away, staring straight at the blackboard.
I was glad to have some peace, with the spiritual chi recovery just around the corner. Isn't studying a complete waste of time?
I kept my head down and scrolled through my phone for news about potential anomalies. After class,
He Xiao, we've already broken up.
I know you're hurting. But do you think giving up on yourself will make me feel guilty? Studying is for your own good. I hope you won't be so childish.
Alright. Stop preaching. I know what I'm doing. Just like you said, we belong to different worlds, after all.
With that, I lowered my head and went back to scrolling on my phone. Finally, the lunch break arrived. I hurriedly left the school.
For some reason, I'm getting hungry so easily today.
I went to a nearby restaurant, ordered a steamed sea bass and a large bowl of rice. I took a bite. The sea bass was tender and melted in my mouth. But right at that moment, a system prompt chimed. Warning.
The host has devoured a lord-level creature, the azure sea blue whale. The flesh of this fish contains immense energy. Given the host's current trash constitution, there is a risk of body explosion.
Rest in peace, host.
Damn, this thing is actually a lord-level creature. And honestly, it's pretty tasty.
Right after, I opened the illustrated handbook.
The azure sea blue whale. It inhabits the depths of waters rich in spiritual chi. It feeds on the essence of water and the spiritual chi of the moon. Its song can purify the soul and possesses the miraculous power to heal wounds.
Who knew this creature was basically a healer? Interesting.
I then claimed the handbook reward.
Obtained ability, Song of the Tide. Passive ability, Water Element Affinity. Allows for faster and more agile movement underwater. Active ability, Chanting. Revitalizes the injured with a healing effect. And range depending on the user's mental strength.
The system is awesome.
It's going to turn me into a perfect all-rounder.
After eating, I found out from the waiter that the sea bass came from the Beilong River.
I need to go check out the Beilong River right away.
But after walking for a long time, I still didn't get any system notification.
Did that waiter make it all up?
Before I knew it, I arrived at a stone monument engraved with a story.
Legend has it that in ancient times, this river wasn't called the Beilong River, not until a kind-hearted woman named Bai Ling appeared. Whenever the river flooded, she was always the first to organize disaster relief. She personally brewed porridge for the victims, earning the deep affection of the locals. But one day, torrential rain poured down, and Jiangzhou City was hit by an unprecedented flood. The floodwaters destroyed houses on both banks. Just as the people fell into despair, a figure stepped forward, resolutely. He pressed his palms together, praying to the heavens, willing to trade his own life for the safety of Jiangzhou. After who knows how long, thunder rumbled, and lightning flashed across the sky, and the giant dragon surged forth. With a gentle sweep of its tail, it carved a massive chasm in the earth. The floodwaters were diverted and gradually subsided, but Bai Ling collapsed by the riverbank like a kite with its string cut. The giant dragon let out a mournful cry, its body starting to turn transparent. Finally, it dissolved into countless points of light, scattering into the river. Meanwhile, Bai Ling's body also faded away and vanished. Since then, the river was renamed the Beilong River, and this stele was erected to commemorate Bai Ling.
To think there was once such a righteous and kind woman in this world.
Just as I walked past the stele,
Portal Heaven/Land. A new scene entry has been unlocked.
It seems there really are signs of recovery here. In that case, could the story on the stele be true as well? Since it's a spiritual chi recovery, if it never existed before, how could it be called a recovery? The system said this is a grotto heaven/blessed land. Could it be?
With that in mind, I walked toward the willow tree ahead and gently touched its branches.
Azure Wave Immortal Willow!
Sure enough, I was right. For most things to recover, their surrounding environment must change accordingly.
Then, I squatted down to observe the grass around me. A few patches of grass were significantly more lush than the rest.
Discovered a rare immortal herb, the Emerald Spirit Immortal Grass.
I glanced around once more, finding nothing else out of the ordinary. At this point, I began checking the material handbook.
Emerald Wave Immortal Willow contains the essence of water. Its leaves and twigs can be used to refine spiritual medicines, which soothe the mind and calm the spirit. Furthermore, for cultivators practicing beneath it, it helps temper their state of mind and boost their cultivation. The Emerald Spirit Immortal Grass grows alongside the Emerald Wave Immortal Willow. Cultivators who consume its dew can nourish their bodies, speed up recovery, and prolong their lifespan.
Both are great items, but the grass doesn't seem to have produced any dew yet. It probably hasn't recovered to that level yet. I'll check back in a few days.
Next, I extract the handbook reward.
Extracted Emerald Wave Immortal Willow Handbook. Spirit +3. Extracted Emerald Spirit Immortal Graph Handbook. Constitution +2.
Genuine materials really are different. They grant more attribute points than rare ones.
3 Wood Attribute Handbooks collected. Activating Wood Attribute effect. Wound recovery speed increased by 20%.
Next, I checked the scene handbooks, which are the Black Mist Death Domain from the subway station and the Immortal Spirit Grotto Heaven I just unlocked.
What kind of rewards can I get from scene handbooks? Surely it's not just attribute points again.
Extracted Black Mist Death Domain Handbook reward. Special item, Wu Key. Extracted Immortal Spirit Grotto Heaven Handbook reward. Special item, Spiritual Breath Divine Tree Seed. The Wu Key can change its form, from weapons to tools. Its transformations are limited only by my imagination, and it can even be upgraded. Unfortunately, the current host is too weak, so the key can only be transformed once. The seeds of the Spirit Breath Divine Tree need spiritual chi to nourish them, and there's no place to cultivate them yet.
I'll keep them for now. As for the Wu Key, how exactly do I use it? Let me think.
I glance at the time. It's already 1:30 p.m.
Being a student is too limiting. I need to find a way to drop out.
Back in the classroom, I continue scrolling through my phone. Well, Liu Ruyan can't even be bothered to look at me.
She probably thinks I've given up on myself, and that no matter how handsome I am, it's useless.
After 2 classes, the classroom suddenly goes dark, followed by lightning, thunder, and a raging storm. Suddenly, the school PA system blared.
Attention all students. Due to sudden severe weather, please remain in your classrooms for now. Please wait patiently.
My classmates are either surprised or frightened. Some are curious, while I stand there in a daze, holding the key. Right now, the key is starting to turn red and hot. What's going on with this key?
Could there be some danger?
Just then, the homeroom teacher rushes into the classroom.
Don't panic, everyone. We just received notice from school officials. This extreme weather isn't expected to last long. Everyone, keep quiet and follow my instructions.
The key in my hand is getting hotter and hotter. I can't sit still anymore. I stand up and run out the door.
Xiao, what are you doing? Get back here. It's dangerous outside.
What is this guy up to?
Is he acting weird on purpose just to get my attention?
But just at that moment.
Look, everyone! Someone is live streaming near the Beilong River.
Oh my god, what is that? Everyone crowds around in a rush, only to see the river water spinning rapidly, as if summoned by a mysterious force. A massive column of water shot straight into the sky.
Guys, I'm getting out of here. This place is way too terrifying.
Don't go, streamer! You'll never see something like this again in your life. Don't leave with regret.
Yeah, send those rockets, everyone. Let's see which fellow cultivator is undergoing tribulation here.
Completely unaware of this, I had already run out of the school. The streets were deserted, and the water had already risen to my calves. I looked up at the sky. The densest part of the thunderstorm seemed to be in the direction of the Beilongjiang River.
I definitely can't ride my electric scooter in this. Looks like I'll have to run there.
With that, I began sprinting through the rain. But as I ran, I noticed something was off. Without me realizing it, a mysterious aura enveloped my body. My heartbeat, breathing, and footsteps gradually fell into perfect sync. Then, I felt a surging hot current swirling within my body.
Is this the power of spiritual chi?
Awesome, host! With heaven-defying comprehension, you have comprehended the path of cultivation on your own, and officially entered the ranks of cultivators. Current realm, Chi Refining Realm, 3-star.
I finally entered the ranks of cultivators. Before this, although my physical attributes far surpassed those of ordinary people, I was still just a mortal. But cultivators are different. They can absorb the energy of heaven and earth, converting spiritual chi for their own use to attack, defend, and even manipulate objects.
At this moment, I felt several times stronger than before. 10 minutes later, I arrived at the Beilongjiang River, and what greeted my eyes was a massive column of water rising from the surface. The downpour here was even heavier, and I could vaguely sense dark shadows beneath the water.
Wang Yi, danger lurks ahead. The energy is extremely violent and chaotic. Once you step in, there is zero chance of survival. Host, please flee immediately.
I've made it this far. How can I back down now?
I unconsciously walked forward, a scene that Liu Qi happened to capture.
Does this guy have a death wish?
Quick, call the cops to save him. Holy shit! Look, what is that? It looks just like the legendary dragon.
That's right! The creature from the bottom of the river has burst out of the water!
And I finally got a clear look at its appearance.
Detected, epic thunder flood dragon, known for controlling lightning and storm. Extremely brutal. Host, run. You are courting death.
Epic.
Never heard of it before. If I kill it, the rewards must be pretty sweet. I can feel its aura. A newly awakened flood dragon.
Should only be a 50-50 match for me.
With that thought, I took out the Wu Key. Guided by my thoughts, it gradually transformed into a longsword.
Time to test my skills on you.
With that, I charged forward like a cannonball. Unaware that Liu Kei immediately shut down the live stream upon seeing this.
He knew full well that if the upcoming scenes were broadcast, he'd definitely be hauled off to jail for drinking tea, and he'd be finished.
Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan stared blankly at the blacked out live stream.
That fleeting glimpse of the figure just now was so familiar. Xiao had only left school half an hour ago. How could he have gotten there so quickly? It probably wasn't him. I must have been mistaken.
By now, the Beilong River area was surrounded by the authorities, and Liu Qi was detained on the spot. Director Wang walked over with a young man. This was Long Ping'an, specially dispatched by the higher-ups to handle anomalous events. Long Ping'an stood before Liu Ke and closed his eyes, sensing for a moment.
No abnormal fluctuations. He's just an ordinary person.
Take him away.
The police then took Liu Ke away. Just then, a loud boom rang out. I collided head-on with the Thunder Flood Dragon. The tremendous recoil forced both of us back several meters.
The Thunder Flood Dragon let out a furious roar.
Awesome! This is so satisfying. Bring it on!
With that, I closed in once more. No moves, just a frenzy of hacking and stabbing.
It's rare to find an evenly matched opponent to test my limits.
This is absolutely perfect.
Holy crap. What a terrifying aura. Is the person fighting that thing inside really human?
I had no idea. 2 months ago, the Dragon Kingdom discovered that unknown changes were occurring in this world, and a mysterious energy, never seen before, had emerged on this land. To study this, a group of scientists was gathered to develop an energy detector. Through testing, they discovered that a select few individuals possessed a natural affinity for this energy. This energy was named spiritual qi, and those with this affinity were called pioneers. After consulting ancient texts, the higher-ups divided the cultivation realms into the qi refining realm, qi si realm, spirit spring realm, spirit domain realm, divine roaming realm, void realm, and saint realm. Lang Ping'an was one of the top elites among them, reaching 1 star of the Qi refining realm in just 1 month. His combat power ranked in the top 10 nationwide, which was why he was dispatched to Jiangzhou to handle the anomaly. The thunder over the river grew increasingly violent, and purple lightning darted like dragons and serpents through the dark clouds, as huge torrents of water spun endlessly, churned up by the thunder flood dragon, splashing dozens of meters high, before crashing back down with a dull roar. Holding the long sword transformed from the Wu Wei Qi, its blade shimmered with a faint hazy glow. Having just stepped into the 3-star Qi refining realm, the spiritual Qi inside me flowed like a surging stream. With every circulation, explosive power surges through my limbs and bones. Vile beast. Again, spiritual Qi surged beneath my feet, and I shot toward the thunder flood dragon like an arrow from a bow. I deliberately activated the movement speed bonus of the dark attribute. My figure left a blurry after image in the pouring rain, dodging the thunder flood dragon's thick tail as it swept by. Imbued with the power of thunder, the tail grazed my shoulder, tearing the air with a piercing screech and instantly smashing a deep trench into the ground. As muddy water and electrical sparks splattered everywhere, a murderous light gleamed in the thunder flood dragon's eyes, and its massive head reared up, condensing a blue-purple lightning orb in its mouth, making the surrounding rainwater crackle with electricity.
Thunder breath. Host must dodge immediately. A direct hit carries a 98% mortality rate.
No retreat. Press forward. Now is the time.
I slammed my left hand onto the hilt, my mental energy surging wildly within me. Another shriek. I opened my mouth and let out a sharp screech, unleashing a soul strike, spreading outward like invisible ripples. The thunder flood dragon was about to spit out the lightning orb, but this sudden mental attack staggered, making the lightning orb in its throat nearly detonate out of control. Seizing this split-second opening, I lunged forward with all my might, my long sword, enveloped in spiritual qi, slashing fiercely at the reverse scale on the thunder flood dragon's neck. A deafening metallic clang rang out as the sword struck the reverse scale, showering blinding sparks. The shock left the web of my hand numb, and the wave of soreness surged up my arm.
The thunder flood dragon's defense is incredibly terrifying.
But I was prepared. The recovery effect of my wood attribute quietly kicked in, speeding up my recovery, and the numbness instantly vanished. Using the momentum, I rolled backward, dodging the thunder flood dragon's furious bite. At the same time, with a single thought, the Wu Wei Qi instantly shifted its form, transforming from a longsword into a barbed spear.
Wu Wei Qi's new form. Armor-piercing spear.
50%.
0.
The moment the system notification faded, I charged forward again. Instead of clashing head-on, I utilized the speed boost from Shadow Assault to move swiftly around the thunder flood dragon. I thrust my spear at its eyes, underarms, and other weak spots from time to time. Enraged at being toyed with, the thunder flood dragon thrashed its massive body wildly across the river, whipping up towering waves. Countless lightning bolts crashed down from the clouds, targeting my position. Shifting my steps and relying on my enhanced agility attribute, I wove nimbly through the gaps in the lightning. Whenever I was caught in the shockwave, a faint water elemental shield would ripple over my body. This was the passive effect of the Song of the Tides in action. The clear river water element greatly reduced the damage I took from the torrential rain and river. In the distance, Lang Ping'an watched in utter shock, his eyes wide open, as the energy detector in his hand beeped frantically.
With the energy readings on the screen already exceeding the device's maximum limit.
3-star Qi refining realm.
How is this possible?
As one of the top 10 pioneers in the country, at the Qi refining realm, a 1-star combat power is enough to easily handle ordinary abnormal creatures. Yet right now, this high school kid is actually going toe-to-toe with the epic thunder flood dragon. This completely shatters my understanding of cultivators. Director Wang's face was grave as he gripped his walkie-talkie tightly.
All units, maintain the perimeter. No one is allowed near the battlefield. Report to headquarters immediately and request backup.
What is happening today is way beyond the control of the Jiangzhou police. This is a true battle of extraordinary power.
On the battlefield, I slowly began to figure out the thunder flood dragon's attack patterns.
Although this newly awakened epic creature is incredibly powerful and commands lightning, its intellect has not fully awakened, making its attack patterns relatively simple.
With a thought, I fully mobilized the spiritual power, strength, and constitution attributes within my body. Suddenly stopping in my tracks, I spun around to face the thunder flood dragon. Raising the armor-piercing spear high, spiritual qi blazed like fire at its tip. Song of the Tide. Gentle water elemental energy enveloped my body, not only healing the minor injuries sustained in battle, but also boosting my spiritual qi circulation speed several times over. Meanwhile, I infused the mental attack of the netherworld shriek into my chant. As invisible ripples spread, the thunder flood dragon's movements faltered for a split second. Now, launching myself off the ground, I shot forward like a cannonball. The armor-piercing spear tore through the air, thrusting straight toward the thunder flood dragon's left eye. This strike concentrated all my strength and spiritual qi enhanced with an armor-piercing effect. I was going to finish this in one blow. Sensing the mortal danger, the thunder flood dragon jerked its head aside, while channeling all its lighting power to form a dense shield of thunder in front of it. But having anticipated this, I suddenly flicked my wrist, instantly shifting the armor-piercing spear's trajectory to bypass the thunder shield. It stabbed fiercely into the corner of the thunder flood dragon's eye. Below, was a soft spot unprotected by its reverse scales. A piercing shriek echoed between heaven and earth as dark green blood gushed from the thunder flood dragon's eye. Its massive body thrashed wildly, whipping up colossal waves on the river that nearly breached the cordon on the shore. The barbs of the armor-piercing spear dug deep into its flesh. Using the recoil, I leaped onto the thunder flood dragon's head. Pressing my left hand against its skull, I channeled my spiritual chi to surge wildly into it, trying to suppress its struggles.
看你能讲下去主要不切 skill?
Unlock it. I just earned 30 points from killing the boss and the mosquitoes, plus the 80 points saved from previous handbook rewards. It's just enough. A new technique for channeling spiritual chi instantly surged into my mind. Pressing both hands on the thunder flood dragon's head, the spiritual chi in my body compressed rapidly along a specific pathway, then violently detonated. Spiritual chi blast. A muffled boom echoed from inside the thunder flood dragon's skull, and the massive shockwave instantly paralyzed its struggles. Its pupils began to dilate, and its colossal body slowly started to sink.
500 points, 10 attribute points.
Create the fog, a vague new skill.
Allows the manipulation of a small amount of lightning for attacks.
It's finally over. The torrential rain gradually stopped, and the dark clouds dispersed. Sunlight broke through, shining down on the Beilong River as the waters finally returned to calm. Only the massive corpse of